If you enjoy shopping fast fashion, but you don't like what it does to the planet and you'd like to be a little bit more sustainable, but your budget doesn't kind of reach that far, then just keep watching. Hi, I'm Leonie and welcome to my channel. Now, I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time. One of the reasons I haven't is because I'm not perfect when it comes to shopping sustainably. In fact, sometimes I'm far from perfect, but what I am doing is trying to be a little more conscious and thoughtful in some of my fashion purchases. And because I've been doing some research and trying to do better, I thought that I'd share some of the tips and tricks that I've been thinking about and putting into practice so that you might want to do the same. Now, of course, as I said, I am no expert, so I would love your input in the comments below. If you have any sustainable fashion practices that you would like to share or that I haven't touched on in today's episode, please drop them in the comments and I would love to chat to you there. Now, this topic definitely has the potential to fire people up, and rightly so. But what I would like to achieve from today's video is just to start some discussions and create some awareness as to some of the different things that we need to be looking for if we would like to be shopping a little bit more sustainably. And of course, online shopping has made it so much easier for us to shop, and sometimes those impulse purchases happen and we haven't really thought through some of those bigger implications like sustainability and environmental impact. So that's what I'm touching on today. I do hope you enjoy this one, and let's talk about this in the comments below. And if you do have some info that you'd like to share, or if there's something in today's episode that hasn't sort of sat well with you, drop it in the comments and let's chat. Now, first up, what I would say if you're shopping fast fashion is to ensure that the pieces that you buy are capsule pieces as opposed to trend focused pieces. Now, the reason for this is simply that, as we know, when you're buying something that's on trend, you might get a season, or if you're lucky, 2 seasons out of that piece. But if you are buying pieces that are foundation pieces for a capsule wardrobe, so these are the pieces that really just last a long time, stand the test of time, they're not trend focused, they are the building blocks of many of your outfits, then essentially you know that you're going to hold on to these pieces much longer. So even if you are shopping fast fashion, the pieces that you buy are going to stay with you for a long time. They're not going to end up in landfill next season, and that's something that we're trying to avoid. I did see someone recently talking about the 30 wear challenge, which is a good way of looking at it. It's probably almost not enough, but essentially it's when you're looking at buying a piece, and especially in a fast fashion store, ask yourself the question, can you see yourself wearing this a minimum of 30 times? And if you're not sure, or if the answer is no, then don't buy it. It is all about just making sure that you focus on pieces that you know that you will get loads and loads of wear out of. Now, next up, and what I believe is one of the first steps in becoming more of a conscious consumer, and that is simply to educate yourself. There are some amazing resources online that are independent, and I definitely suggest looking at some of the independent resources. In fact, I will link them down below. A couple that I particularly love are the Fashion Transparency Index. Now, this is an annual index, and it basically looks at the transparency of some of. There are some really amazing resources online, and some that actually share how sustainable certain brands are. So I will link some of those resources down below. And next up is finding some sustainable brands that are actually within your budget. Now, a few years ago, this was really hard to do because there were fewer sustainable fashion brands and they were super expensive, but demand has seen that part of the fashion market grow. There are some amazing labels to love out there and brands doing some great things in this space. So it's about finding perhaps a great swap for some of your fast fashion brands. And I will leave a link in the description box below of some lists of some cool brands, and hopefully if you take a look at those lists, you might find some new labels to love yourself. And when it comes to making swaps, another thing that you can do is when you look at some of your basic pieces, the pieces that you love and wear all the time, and if they are from fast fashion stores, maybe research and find similar pieces from more sustainable brands because they'll be better quality, they will last longer. You won't end up probably spending as much money because they are going to last the distance. So these pieces aren't designed to be consumed at the same rate as fast fashion. They're designed with longevity in mind. So you get what you pay for, you're getting that quality, and you know that you're going to be able to enjoy these pieces for many years to come. But it is very much a mindset shift, especially if you're used to shopping fast fashion and paying a certain price point. The idea of paying double is scary. I know, I absolutely get that, but it is just a different way of consuming. It's a more thoughtful way, and it's a way that ensures that you have less clothes but better quality. And I think we all know this one. Another thing you can do if you're shopping fast fashion is look at the fabric composition of the piece that you're buying. Now, not all fabrics, as you probably know, are created equal, and some have a far greater impact on the planet than others. So as I said, I will leave links to some of that information. There's a great website. I can't off the top of my head think of what it's called. I'll leave it on the screen here. But that does give you a bit of a breakdown on some of the fabrics and which are the best fabrics to opt for. So having a little bit of knowledge about the fabric composition and the fabrics that you focus on and shop for, even if you are shopping in fast fashion brands, is definitely going to make a positive impact too. And at this point, I'd just like to say a very big thank you to the team at Squarespace for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Now, I've been building and creating websites and blogs for clients and for myself over the years, and I only choose Squarespace as the way to do it. The reason for that is quite simply that Squarespace is the easiest and the most efficient way to create any sort of online presence. One of the things that I love most about Squarespace is that it's so quick and easy to get started. You can basically go from a blank slate to having a fully functioning website up and running and live on the internet in as little as about an hour. Squarespace has so many beautiful, professional looking templates for you to use, so you can scroll through, have a little look, and choose the look and feel of your website. And when it comes to running your website, everything is right there in one place thanks to Squarespace. So if you want to send out emails or track your customers and your traffic, all of your analytics, everything is right there, which makes it a much easier process than trying to kind of get this information from outside sources. It's all there. It's so easy. Now, if you do plan on launching yourself online this year, or you have products to sell, or you want to start a blog, what I would suggest is whipping over to squarespace.com, have a little look, get familiar, and then when you are ready to push play and really take off online, then simply use my unique URL, which is squarespace.com/The Style Insider, and my discount code, which is The Style Insider, and that will actually give you 10% off your first website or domain. So it's a great deal. Don't forget about it. I will leave more links and more details in the description box below, and a link. So yeah, if you do want to launch yourself online, Squarespace is, hand on heart, the way to do it. But anyway, let's get on with these sustainable tips and tricks. Now, my other tip for shopping more sustainably, and if you are a fast fashion shopper, is to buy transseasonal pieces. So these are pieces that you can wear throughout the year, and obviously you can layer them and wear them in summer and when it's a little bit warmer outside, but you can also use and wear these pieces through to winter by layering them up. So I do think it's really important to think about not only how often you're going to wear these pieces, but how you're going to wear them. And are they going to be pieces that are super valuable that you can wear throughout the year? So transseasonal pieces are definitely what I think is really important to focus on. If you are a fast fashion shopper, what I always recommend is donating your clothes when you're finished with them. Often we get bored of our clothes before they actually wear out. So what I'm suggesting is taking a little bit more time and making sure that you donate your clothes as opposed to them ending up in landfill, because that is what we're trying to avoid here. And of course, when it comes to educating yourself, you can find some fast fashion brands that you love that are really doing some good work in that sustainable place. And there are certainly fast fashion brands that are lifting their game and doing a better job. So for instance, Zara last year scored below 50% for their environmental practices. And since then, they've definitely lifted their game and made lots of really cool commitments to doing better. So their goals actually span to 2030. So it's definitely long-term thinking for them. And they include things like water conservation to reducing waste in landfills. They've also worked to ban some harmful chemicals in their production processes. So it is definitely worthwhile looking at what some of your favorite fast fashion brands are doing to do better in this space. I have a friend who refuses to shop fast fashion, but the only way she purchases fast fashion is by thrifting. And so this is another way of being sustainable, but enjoying some of the fast fashion pieces that you see. And again, this buys into the whole idea of circular fashion and whatever it takes to avoid these pieces ending up in landfill. So what is someone's trash is someone else's treasure. So if you are opposed to buying fast fashion, but you do like some of the pieces on offer, then maybe do what my friend has done and really just focus on those fast fashion pieces being thrifted and thrifted only. I'm not saying that that's easy, and it's certainly not, but it is how she shops, and it definitely makes her feel better about buying fast fashion. Now, one of the biggest reasons that we shop fast fashion is because it's current, it's up-to-date pieces, and probably the biggest reason is that it is affordable. So it gives us the opportunity to look great, but also not spend a fortune in doing so. But one of the things that we do need to focus on when it comes to shopping more sustainably, especially for fashion, is that we do have to be prepared to spend a little more. These sustainable, more environmentally friendly practices simply cost more. But the upside to that is that these are pieces that like our grandparents used to do. They would buy something and wear it and love it for many, many years. So we almost need to change our thinking on some of these pieces. Yes, we're going to spend more on them, but it is about buying better and buying less. And that is more than anything a mindset shift. So when it comes to mindset shift, another thing that I think is valuable to kind of have in the fore of our mind is how we spend our money. So I know a lot of people, and I've been guilty of this myself, I will have a special event to go to, perhaps like a wedding, and I'll go and buy something that's more affordable, a fast fashion option to see me through to wear to a wedding. And in a sense, I'm better off not buying anything for that wedding. I'm better off maybe renting something and saving those dollars to invest in a more sustainable piece and a better quality piece that I know that I can wear and enjoy for many years to come. So again, this is similar to what I just talked about, but it is thinking about how we spend some of our money in fast fashion stores. And of course, I know this isn't easy, and we've all become very accustomed to getting that fast fix. We go online, scroll through some of our favorite websites and start buying pieces without thinking too much about them. And I suppose that is part of this unraveling of trying to be a little bit more sustainable. It's just slowing things down, taking a little bit more time to think through some of our shopping and spending habits and maybe tweaking them and changing them. And as I said, I'm not perfect. I am far from perfect. But I think the first step in making a difference and making a positive change is being aware. And every small change that we make is definitely going to add up and create a big impact on the planet and the people that create and make our clothes. Another tip is to simply learn how to repair your clothes. We have really become very much a throwaway culture, and that goes for everything, whether it's homeware, furniture, you name it. So again, it's thinking about how we can give our clothes the best and longest life possible. And that does require a little bit of upkeep, whether it's de-pilling some of your sweaters or whether it's soling your shoes. repairing your clothes, hemming things. Maybe you need to get a good tailor, but it's ensuring the longevity of the pieces that you currently own. And that's a really important part of this as well. The other thing that you can do is look at some of your favorite fast fashion brands a little closely, because a lot of them are actually creating their own sustainable lines. Now, generally these lines aren't particularly big, but they are doing their bit to do better, or at least try to do better on the sustainability and environmental front. So I do think that it's important to support those efforts for them to continue to do better. Obviously, there has been some brands that have kind of been accused of greenwashing and not really being as sustainable in these lines as they are kind of saying they are. So again, it's all about educating yourself and keeping up to date with what is happening in this space. And as I said, I've got those links in the description box below to a few websites and organizations that are doing exactly that for us. So last but not least is to plan ahead a little bit when you're shopping online, and if you can, try and group some of your deliveries or some of your purchases so that you can opt for one delivery as opposed to numerous deliveries. This is going to have a really positive effect on emissions. So whether it's Amazon or Walmart or stores that you can group your online deliveries, then that is definitely going to help with the environmental impact as well. So it does take a little bit of time, it does take a little bit of planning, but as I said earlier, every little bit helps. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, I'd love you to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.